What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another review. This time we're taking a look at Hail Caesar, written and directed by the Coen Brothers. Hail Caesar tells the story of Eddie Mannix, who is a Hollywood fixer who is pretty much trying to discover what happened to an actor who mysteriously disappeared off the set of a movie. Hail Caesar takes place during the 1950s, during a very pivotal time in Hollywood, in the history of Hollywood. The 1950s was where Hollywood really became the Hollywood we all know. The Hollywood that on the outside is this wonderful place full of magic and wonder, but on the inside, it's a very scandalous, grimy, gamey place with some shady ass people. That's what Hail Caesar does. That's what Hail Caesar pretty much shows us, but it does it in a very good comedic way. Now, I don't think Hail Caesar is one of the best Coen Brothers movies ever made, particularly the ones that I've seen. I think No Country for Old Men, Serious Man, and True Grit are much better movies. But to itself, I thought Hail Caesar was very entertaining. It's a really funny movie but bolstered bolstered by an all-star cast that is really really solid. Though I think a majority of this cast is very underutilized in a sort of way, and I could have liked to have spent a little bit more time with certain actors, with certain members of the cast. This movie follows the Eddie Mannix, played by Josh Brolin, who is the fixer. He's the man who takes the lives of celebrities who are scandalous and preserves their saintly images. I thought Josh Brolin in the role was fantastic. He was great. I've yet to see Josh Brolin be in a bad movie. I loved him as Eddie Mannix. I thought he gave Mannix a very gruff and dry sense of humor, and he just works in the role. Josh Brolin fits that 1950s aesthetic perfectly. He was great in this role. George Clooney, who was pretty much his co-lead, he plays a very pompous Hollywood actor named Bayard. I thought George was good in the role too. George Clooney to me looks like an actor who would have been very very popular in that 50s, in that 40s 50s era of Hollywood. He just has that look. And to me, George Clooney, he fit the role he was in perfectly as one of those bright-starred Hollywood celebs who is very very popular amongst its fandom. I thought George Clooney played the role really really well. He was fine. Uh, this movie has a really strong supporting cast that includes Jonah Hill, Scarlett Johansson, Tilda Swinton, Channing Tatum, and a slew of others. Some of them I think are utilized really really well. I think Tilda Swinton, who is in a dual role of twin sisters as a journalist, I thought she was good in her roles as well. I like how she plays each of the sisters with different personalities, and I like the chemistry that Swinton has with Josh Brolin in the scenes that they share. I thought they were really really funny with one another. I thought it worked for me. I thought it was great. Scarlett Johansson, she plays a character who was good in the role, but she only has maybe one or two scenes. Her whole deal is that is pregnant with a baby, and doesn't know who the father is. So pretty much Eddie Mannix concocts a plan for her to give up her child in a secret adoption, just to take it back again. And then they go to enlist the help of Jonah Hill, who plays a guy who is known for doing stuff like that. And in the 2 minutes of screen time that Jonah Hill has, I thought he was kind of funny. He was good. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more. That's just me personally. The stuff with George Clooney's character being abducted by communists is actually pretty funny. And him just having conversations with the communists and absorbing what they're saying is hilarious, because he actually buys into the whole communist thing until the end of the movie, where Mannix slaps some sense into him. So I thought all that stuff was really funny as well. Olden Emmerich is in this movie. He plays a character known as Hubie. Now, if Olden Emmerich acted in this movie the way, if scratch that, if Olden Emmerich acted in Solo the way he acted in this movie, I thought he would have been really really good as a Han Solo. I think Olin Emmerich in this movie was grossly underrated. I actually was liking the role Olden Emmerich in this movie. I thought he was actually really good as Hoobie. He gave him a very likable, cowboy type of personality, and every time that he's on screen, I got a chuckle out of him. I thought he fit the role really really well. He gave the character of Hobie a very, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? He gave the character of Hobie a kind of innocence in a way, where most people in this movie are just acting like Hollywood prima donnas. Hoobie acted like who he was before he went to Hollywood, like a real life like a cowboy pretty much. And I thought Emmerich played the role really, really well. And there are numerous scenes where I thought he was actually really funny. And I think he and Brolin had some decent on-screen chemistry with one another as well. I mean, I love this. I really like the scene where he's with this director named Lauren Lawrence, played by Ralph Fiennes, and he's been trying to do this dramatic piece. And I thought that entire bit was really, really funny, with Lawrence trying to teach Hobie how to enunciate certain words in a manner, because Hobie is so into his cowboy phase he can't really break out of it. I thought that little bit of the movie was really, really funny. It was really, really funny. And I thought Ray Fiennes in the role was funny as well. I thought he was really good. This movie has a cameo by Christopher Lambert himself, who plays another director. He was fine, and for the bits of screen time he had, his character is involved with the Johannesson character, as the movie implies that he is the father of her baby. Though the two of them never share any screen time to either discuss nor confirm this. I would have liked to have seen something between those two. Sorry. I'd have liked to have seen something between those two, just to see how he would react or something. Just give me something. There's not really, there's not really a whole lot of expansion with a lot of these storylines that are presented in this movie. I mean, and like I said, to me, a lot of these actors, they just have one scene to them. Majority of them, they have one scene. They do something interesting, and then you don't see him again. Channing Tatum plays a character called Bert Gurney, who is pretty much like a Gene Kelly type. And this movie dedicates an entire sequence to him doing a dance as a sailor. And then it's revealed that he's a communist and he goes down in a submarine. The movie didn't really plant any seeds about this. We see this character once, and then we see him again holding a briefcase in a restaurant that Hubie had seen Mannix have earlier in the movie. And we really don't see that, and we don't really get to know about Gurney, why he wants to be a communist or anything like that. Because in the third scene that we see him in, he goes down in a submarine. I mean, Channing Tatum, in the scenes that he was in, I thought he was fine, but we don't really know about Gurney. I mean, we know that the house that's being occupied by the study group is owned by Gurney. But that's a plot twist near the end of the movie where that gets revealed and he goes down in a submarine. Okay, nothing really happened. We don't. I would like to. I've seen some sort of setup building up to something like that. Maybe have Gurney and Mannix share a scene or something. We don't really get anything. And I think, to me, that's my main issue with Hail Caesar, is that a lot of these stories and characters, they don't really have any expansion. To its credit, it does focus more on the Mannix character, but a lot of these other characters, they don't really have a chance to develop. And that's really a shame, because this movie is bolstered by a talented cast, and some of these characters do have some interesting things that I would like to see expanded upon more. But for what it is, at least Josh Brolin holds this movie together, and aesthetically, this is a beautiful looking movie. The Coen Brothers and Roger Deakins capture that 1950s aesthetic so well. This movie feels like a time capsule. That's how well they captured that aesthetic. Everything looks fantastic and brilliant, extravagant and lavish as 50s Hollywood would look, and I love it for that. And I really do. And I really do think that Hail Caesar, even though it does have characters who I feel are by the wayside, the story itself is really entertaining. This movie is funny in a lot of areas. It's got a good sense of humor to it. And it is bolstered with good actors who do give performances whenever they're on screen. And Clooney and Brolin really hold this movie together. And Emmerich is an unsung hero of this movie, to me at least. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Hail Caesar. I like this movie. I thought it was good. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. If you have not seen this movie, go watch it. If you have seen this movie, let me know what you think about it in the comment sections down below. Like the video and subscribe. And I will check you back next time for more.